here.
Wow, exactly. And everybody out there right now
Yes.
is over there on the other part. Hello, welcome to
Taking the journey together.
Taking the Journey Together. I am Imar or Craig. It all depends upon which way you want to take it. And you are.
I am Sharon, or Zare.
We are very happy today because we just got to coming from a very good moment. I think it was, what day was it?
Monday.
Monday, Martin Luther
Monday.
King's birthday. We were out in
Holiday.
Savannah,
Yes.
Georgia. We were nicely asked to come out and be a host and DJ too, for a radio station that we also do our show on WRUU, right?
Exactly.
And tell them a little bit more about it. Why I'm trying to find this.
Well, it was a unique experience because we'd never done it before. We have worked together on many, 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 many
And the
projects.
station's information is right below, scrolling below.
Yes, but we this was the first time we had um talked about or did the commentary on a parade, and it was really
Hmm.
it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of things that didn't go right and a lot of things that did go right, but all
Hmm.
in all it was a good learning experience. Some things we learned, we need to get closer and get set up in a different
You
place.
think so?
Yeah, because I was too short to see a lot of the things that were coming.
Uh, uh, okay,
As
so
I'm
you had
trying,
to find something
no,
bad to say.
no, it was great.
Okay.
Everything was fun. And even the people getting involved and helping me to see who was coming down the pike. I
Hmm.
think it was really nice, and it was a lot of it was a community sense, and it just felt real good being out there working with you on that, getting things set up, being able to talk about taking the journey together on our black media as well as WRUU, and
Hmm.
just trying to get people to know that there's a lot going on, and introduce them to some things that they may not have been aware of before. It
Exactly.
was very nice,
Well,
very
I'm
nice.
gonna try to do something real quickly. I don't know if I have that. Do I have the ability to be able to share on this?
I have no earthly
I don't.
idea.
Looks like I do. I was going to actually try to. Is this one? Is
Well, you know what we
aren't you
can do?
supposed to have the ability
I don't
on
know.
this? Hold on. Is it present? Oh,
Mm.
yes, it is.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, it is. That's what I get for listening to you. No,
No, see, I didn't.
I
On the
got you.
dualism side.
I, well, let's play a little bit about our hosting
Yeah.
that play since we did it StreamYard. It was going live, but we had to chop it
Yes.
up because we had bad sound, so everybody has to be prepared for that.
See,
We'll
and
do it
then
better
you
next
found
time.
something
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah, oh yeah, okay. Anyway, play it a little bit. Let everybody just enjoy themselves as we enjoy themselves. Let me make sure I do this right too. But I think I can do this. Oh, there it is, and then put it like this, right?
Uh,
And then what do you do? Play it.
Well, looks like the parade has started. Not bad. Yep. A parade is coming. We'll turn down the sound and let you guys watch the parade. Yep. That's okay. Good. We're right there, just where we want it. I think that's the most we can get out of it. Yeah. All right. There you go. All right, folks. We got the parade getting ready to start. Keep your eyes on the surprise. Okay. Okay. All right.
Here comes an ROTC, a
ROTC.
And
JROTC.
so that was a little bit of the parade.
Yeah.
That it just got to get started. It's a long one too. It was about what?
It was about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, but we really enjoyed ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. So anyway, wanted to just show you a little bit about what we were enjoying each other to do and are doing, I should say, and just showing how the power of unity can do in your relationship,
Yes.
and some of the fun things that you're able to do. That's usually outside of the box, beyond just what we usually some of us do, including us. Go to bed, get back up again, go to work,
Go to
and that's
work
it.
and
So I mean, you're
yawn and start again.
exactly. So this is
Yes.
one of the byproducts that happen, or the blessings, I will use a better word, that you have
Yes.
and a balanced, healthy relationship
Mhm.
that both are able to operate interconnectivity wise, and then come together and do something that one of us couldn't do by ourselves, but both of us had that outcome. It was enjoyable, wasn't
Mhm.
it?
It was. It was so much fun, and, it was cold, cold, cold when we
Mm-hmm.
first started, and as the day warmed up and we warmed up and everything got to going so much better, it was just like you at one point, I forgot how cold I was
Mm-hmm. I
because
saw that.
of what was
The
going
little
on.
heater that you had me have down by your feet that was burning me up. You weren't
I
paying no
had
attention because you were standing up most of the
I
time.
was, because I had to
Mm-hmm.
see, but I had it closer to me because
Mm-hmm.
I knew it would be kind of hot on you,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah, wrong kind of hot,
Yeah.
not
Wait,
this
hey, why don't
kind
you
of
talk about that hot, by the way?
hot.
Shameless plug. Let me take that out.
Exactly, not this kind of hot.
What kind of hot is that?
This kind of hot is the hot that you have in your relationships, and it's not the hot that most people think. This means honest, open, and transparent.
We both wore those badges while we were out there. Those
Yes.
stinking badges.
Yeah.
No, we we wore those. What did anybody say anything to you? I
Um,
know they were looking and
Yeah, they were
watching a lot.
looking, and then this one
Mm-hmm.
lady, we talked about it, and she was talking about it, and we were like, "So what do you think it means?"
Mm-hmm.
And she went, "Well, and
Yes,
so,
she did.
and when we
She was
told
concerned
her
with all the kids around. She didn't want to say
e-
anything raunchy.
exactly, and so when we
Mm-hmm.
told her, she was like, "I like that. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. I'm gonna have to
Mm-hmm.
write that down." And somebody else that was just standing by listening, you
Mm-hmm.
know how we do
Mm-hmm.
if something is going on and catch our attention,
Mm-hmm.
we just blatantly uh,
Look,
look and get involved in the conversation too, if
exactly.
need be. And so there was another lady that was standing there, and she got involved in it too for a few minutes. But yeah, it was good. It was good.
A technical person saying we're having a little bit of a problem. I hope that
Well,
hopefully we're still going on air. I
yeah.
mean, from that end. So what was
So
it?
we're gonna just keep it rolling.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it
Yeah,
rolling.
keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling. Keep it
And
rolling.
so yeah, the parade was really, it was energizing,
Mm-hmm.
and also um it was good to be in the midst of something major like that helped us to remember the call for the day and the reason for the day,
Mm-hmm.
and help us to keep things into perspective as to the importance of the day.
And the cultural diversity that was out there of folks were out there.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
so many of us folks were out there.
Mhm.
Um, with no stereotypes. Though they had police all over the place, but no stereotypes going down. We
Yeah.
had no gun shooting. There was a gun shooting at a after party. I think it was someplace. Might have been
Yeah.
in Tampa. Some young person got shot. So the blessing thing is, though they say Savannah is one of the largest when it comes to Martin Luther King parade, or the second one, none of that happened. Everybody showed love.
Mhm.
Everybody act like they knew each other
Yes.
and enjoy themselves. And quite frankly, when it was cold as it was that morning, I didn't think that many people were going to show up.
I didn't either, and they started showing up
Hmm.
about 8.
Didn't they?
Yeah, and
Hmm.
there was this one man, well, there were two of them, and one of them was elderly,
Hmm.
and he sat out there in his chair, and it was about 8 o'clock when the two of them came up,
Hmm.
and I'm like, okay, well, here they come, and then all of a sudden it was just people everywhere.
Well, I sure look forward for us to do that next year because it certainly was enjoyable. Hopefully, it can be a lot larger, and I mean, as for us being able to cover it with more cameras, but and at the same time have a better internet connection
Yeah,
because we went out a couple of times. I had to
yeah,
chop that video up, to be honest with you, just to make it look like it made sense, so that we could be able to not
hmm,
have dropouts. Kind of mess with the
yeah,
sound much better. But I think next time we do it, or if we do it for someone else who'd like for us to do it for their event, or do something for their church, or do something for a parade, we'd be glad to do that
absolutely,
that live streaming for them. They
yeah,
just got to also get a hold of us through our where's our thing that we have here.
right there,
Where? Oh
taking the
yeah, taking the journey.
journey.
Yeah, you can always get us hold us there, or you can also too, because the production's actually done through Unity Community.
Hmm.
Really, the equipment and all that stuff, and
Yes.
the people like us, they're really done through Unity Community, so they really could get a hold of of Unity Community, right below, email us or give us a call, and then
Mhm.
we could definitely help them out
Yeah.
from that end. I mean, live streaming is such a necessary thing that I think that we should do with our programs, and especially young people doing live stream all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
TikTok,
And all
Hickok, everything else you can think of,
and all
they
kinds
live
of other
stream.
things.
So we
Yeah.
might as well have the programs that we're doing that are
Yeah.
important. Live
Absolutely.
stream, and it don't take a whole bunch of money. It'll take a whole bunch of time. There's some people dedicated to help you
Mhm.
out, and
And
your
in it
community would be glad to help you out in that matter.
right.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, it gives you the opportunity to hang on to those memories,
Yes. Well, yeah,
and
because they're going to be recorded,
mhm.
and we
Yeah.
can put it back up there for you, like we do in the YouTube
Yeah.
format, which is what you were looking at already after you did some editing, as young folks say, chop it up. So,
Mhm.
so not only can you see it live as you talked about, but it can be recorded,
Yeah.
and it will be recorded on Facebook. You can always
Mhm.
come back, look at it any other time.
Yep. And that's always a good thing.
Yeah, that is, that is. So what is our topic that we are talking about today, as we both are being dual? My voice then your voice then my voice, talking about
And
being
all of a
dual.
sudden together.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that, I like
Yes.
that.
In unison.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
we're talking about dualism relationships.
Yep. Dualism in
And
relationships.
what does that mean, and how does that pop up? I'm hear this popping sound.
You don't want to know what it is.
Your chair.
No.
Okay,
No.
something else. All right.
Well, it's over your left shoulder, down, back.
Oh, that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Anyway, you were saying.
Yes. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying that we were talking about dualism and
Mm-hmm.
what that is
People usually think it is.
in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people connect it with opposites attracting.
Mm-hmm.
Opposites attracting is never a good way to start in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's I have never felt comfortable with that whole attitude. And we have talked about it, and you've never felt comfortable with it either.
Well, I
The
mean,
whole attitude
I'll
of,
be honest with you, just to be the Nixon advocate, as I say.
mhm,
We know that most males, especially, doesn't make a difference, cultural background, or quite frankly into that. I'm not like you.
yeah,
I'm a man. You're a woman, and you can't do what I can do, and I'm not going to do what you're going to do,
yeah.
which sets up that opposite thing. Though I know you're going to speak on your side.
Yeah.
As a woman, I'm assuming that same thing is spoken.
But it is,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had that whole thing several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Men are from Mars and women are from
Mm-hmm.
Venus. That
No, I was from Saturn, but go ahead.
well, we we
I love-
we know you got your
no,
own
no, no.
planet.
I'm sorry. No, no, I'm not going to do that. No, no. I'm gonna be for real, but no, I'm from the Earth,
Yeah,
Gaia Earth.
yeah.
That's where I'm from.
And so
Yeah.
exactly,
Keep my feet on the ground. I'm
exactly.
going to be going to Mother Africa here real soon anyway. So yeah.
And so will I.
Okay. You tagging along with? No, I'm just joking.
No, you're tagging along
No,
with me. We're tagging along with each other.
no. I said it right the first time. If you want to come along for the ride, you can come along for the ride.
We're going together.
Okay, that means you
Yeah.
still come along for the ride. But go ahead,
I forgot what I was saying.
because you got caught in the mess. That's why.
Oh, I know what I was saying.
Okay.
And it goes on. Both people have gotten caught up into that idea and that attitude of opposites attracting,
Mm-hmm.
and saying that that makes us better.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got to start someplace. And if you're on two different pages,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Then I go to Africa, and you come along for the ride, and then you say no. We're going together.
yeah,
See, I was being opposite,
yeah,
doing the man thing. I'm doing this myself. I
yeah.
don't need you to come along.
Okay,
You didn't like it, did you?
no,
Okay, I
uh-uh.
made my point.
Because we planned it.
Peace.
We planned it together. So
But I made my point.
yeah, you made your
I made
point.
my point.
You made
And
your
so
point.
and so was you. You were trying to make your point from the
Yes.
standpoint of, no, you ain't going without me.
Yes, we're in this together.
So in this together. And ultimately, with a balanced, healthy relationship, that's what it is.
Yes,
We're supposed to all be trying to be in this thing together.
together.
Dualism doesn't necessarily speak that in how it's presented.
Mm-mm.
Dualism is presented in such a way that it has to do with opposite. For those who are coming to us and didn't watch part one when we talked about that, dualism has a mind and body dualism representation with a metaphysical stance where it says the mind is separated from the body, and they
Mm-hmm.
have two distinct substance themselves, each with a different essence of themselves too,
Yes.
or nature, in so
Right.
many words. So mental and physical is what we're talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Mind,
Mm-hmm.
body, or body, mind, or mind, brain, in so
Yes.
many words.
Yes.
And so we add that same kind of mind thought when it comes to between the male and the female. I mean, even though bodies, arms, stuff like that, but mind, we especially will
Mm-hmm.
concentrate more on being different. And then,
Yes.
when it comes to relationships, I was talking about physical stuff right now.
Right. Right.
But when it comes to relationship wise, we then press the issue of dualism in this particular case more from a romantic point of view.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That if opposites attract, you remember that old words, opposite attracts, and usually the opposite track attracts. Usually what happens is the time we make that final connection, okay, it's smashing time. That's what young folks call it. That's smashing time. We smashing.
Oh,
We
that's
got a
so
got a
that's
factuation going on, and it's getting
that's
hot,
that's that's so
hot, hot,
romantic. The
hot.
vision of
But you know
smashing.
what I'm saying?
I know
You
what
know
you're saying.
that's what
I know
that's what's
exactly
pushed
what
out
you're
there.
saying.
That's exactly what is pushed out
Yes.
there from that end.
And it's just yeah. I'm not I'm not with that, but I understand where it comes from
Yeah,
and the implications of it.
yeah,
You know, but yeah, I feel like at some point we have to realize what it is to be opposite. You know, opposites only attract when you're doing a science experiment and you're dealing with magnets.
well,
That's the
most
only time it's a
people
good
who are
thing.
doing that hot bump and grind thing ain't thinking about no experiments, dear, unless you the scientist watching them
Well,
and you enjoying it.
yeah, but in that situation too, how strong of a relationship
But
are you
I'm
necessarily
just,
trying to
you're
build?
right, no doubt about it.
Yeah,
But I'm just saying that's where the concentration is when it comes to
absolutely.
the
Oh
opposite.
yeah,
That's where that strongest
yeah.
concept, theory,
Mm-hmm.
urban legend, whatever you
Yes,
may want to call it,
yes.
comes from. You see the movies and everything
Right.
else. That when we what's the song that we got 3 minutes to, but we'll come back and talk about after that in a minute.
Or if
But
you
what's that
like.
one song that you talk about?
The one with
Paula
Paul
Abdul.
Abdul,
We're talking about opposite
opposites
attract.
attract.
And
Yeah,
if you listen to the lyrics or read the lyrics,
yeah.
you'll find out that the way we come together is what?
In bed.
Yeah, that's what she
Yeah,
comes out and says. That's the
exactly.
only time they
Yeah,
connect is
exactly.
during the bedtime. Anything else
And
from there, they ain't even connected.
and that goes to that, mind body.
Hmm.
That's that body.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they got a new song. It's not body body. It's that. What's that one? What's the one they
I
sing
have
that?
no idea, but
Oh man.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm just
Okay.
mm-mm.
I think 3 minutes 40. Oh, she's in 45 seconds. So
Yes.
got a new one.
So what we're gonna do is,
Hmm.
as we're talking about the timing and everything here, we're getting ready to go to a commercial. That means that we're gonna still be here, so don't you go away
We
because
ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere.
no, we are not. And so, but we will be having a commercial popping in just a few. And that was a commercial. I like that commercial.
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
like the commercial too. Wow.
And
Okay, where were we at before
well,
that?
we
We
were
were talking.
talking about the as far as when people get together And when
Should I
opposites
play that song?
attract,
Should I get that song by
please
Paula
don't.
Do?
No.
When we were listening to it in
I
Ruby
know
Tuesday,
we
we
walked
walked in Ruby
into
Tuesdays to eat, our favorite
and
place,
it was playing
and
over the
we just talked about
yes,
it.
yes.
What is the high percentage of just talking about that from people who deal with
Yeah.
relationships, and then walk into a Ruby Tuesdays and it's actually playing?
And
Wow,
it was so surreal
I
that
know it.
I'm listening to it and I'm going, where did that
Because
come
that's what
from?
you brought up the last time in part one,
Exactly.
that Paula Duel song about opposites try
Yeah.
to make your point, and I didn't remember it whatsoever, but yet it popped up. Then I remembered it, and while it was playing, I said, I better listen to this.
Yeah. It
I need to
was
find out what she's saying,
mhm.
and wow, yeah.
And that's what it was. They had absolutely nothing in common.
Yeah, she even
They
said it in the
they
song.
were like night and day, but
Mm-hmm.
they had a
Physical,
sexual
exactly.
connection,
That was the
and
only connection.
that was the only connection. That the sexuality between them is the only thing that connected them. That's what the attraction was.
Mm-hmm.
But if that's
Mm-hmm.
the only attraction you have, oh, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because that's not enough. That's not anywhere near enough, because that's not guaranteed to be there for a long time. You can
Mm-hmm.
only build on that for just so long. And then you have to have something more. So, um yeah, that was not good at all.
No,
But
no.
anyway, it was just a real surreal
How about the
experience.
other song which we didn't hear, which I've been funny to have heard? You know what that one is?
What's that one?
The other one would have been Friends. Not too
N-
many people have
have them.
them. Friends.
Let's be friends.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And he gave a testimony in his song, as rappers do,
Yeah.
about he was having a relationship with a girl.
Yeah.
And they were on a relationship before that, and they weren't as friends.
Yeah.
He even said they were lovers, but they were friends.
hmm
And
And
it fell apart
and he
because of
wanted to
that.
back up and try it again,
Exactly.
starting off from the friendship
Yeah.
level.
Then he gave
Yeah.
that classic. How many of us have them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he shouted out that friends. He was like, "Man, let's be for real. Ain't too many of us really have friends
No,
out there."
and you don't really know what they are.
No, no,
Yeah.
we doing most of the friends with benefits thing.
Yeah,
That's been going on.
and that has become something
Mhm.
that is more and more acceptable,
Mhm.
but it keeps from having true
It
relationships.
does.
You know, because there's nothing committed in them. You know, other than the 10 o'clock special,
Exactly. 10 o'clock special.
midnight special.
Midnight special. Let
Mhm.
the ever living love of the light on you.
Yeah,
Something like that.
something like that.
So you want to go a little bit further, because I think dualism, again, we have to still look at it, but not, you can't really tear it apart, because individually wise, you're a dualism being anyway. So it goes to the
Yes,
machine.
yes, you're
And so
definitely doing.
when you're dealing with two people, two beings who are dual, and then you're dealing with each other,
Mhm.
then you're dealing with dualism on both ends
Yeah.
from
Yes.
that particular end.
Yes.
And so, if it's diluted, or at least give perception, she said through nature,
Mm-hmm.
that Paula Dula song said it was just natural,
Yeah.
that your natural attraction, closeness is just the physical side. Where we just talked about in our last show, in the idea of intimacy, or another word called closeness, that there's 12 types of closeness,
Yes.
probably any more, but 12 types of closeness. And the number one closeness was what?
The sexual.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
I
like,
got you off
now I'm
guard.
going. Didn't we just go over this? And I'm going.
No, that we did, but not
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
We
yeah.
did when we were talking off the air.
Yes.
Yeah, number one
yes.
closeness
It's
is the sexual part.
Yeah.
So that just means, again, no wonder why it's natural,
Yeah.
because it's the closest thing that we usually look at,
Mm-hmm.
physically wise, when it comes to our intimacy, is that closeness called that sexual closeness. But there's actually
Because
12 types of other
Mm-hmm.
closeness that you can have and you should balance in your relationship in the
Yeah.
first place, not just that one. Notice we didn't say not at all, folks.
Yes.
We didn't say that. I'm looking at you. We didn't say that at all. We said not only just that,
Right.
and not look at the other closenesses that you can have.
And that energy is so strong
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things.
Because it feel good.
Exactly. Feels
Mhm.
much better than just talking to you. But that
Well, it depends. If
but
you got something
no, no,
that's
no, no, no.
worthwhile talking about, no, it's
Exactly. And
stimulating.
see,
What are you talking about?
and that's where I was going. That's what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
It's so much better than just talking to you.
Hmm.
You know,
Okay.
but then you run into the wrong people. You run into the people that don't have a lot to talk about
Hmm.
that's worthwhile, that's mentally stimulating, you know.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that I found about you. Just talking to you was
Hmm.
so mentally stimulating
Hmm.
that very first time that we met, that everything was wrapped around and centered around that fact that um you were compelling, and you were interesting,
Hmm.
and your conversation connected
Okay,
with things that I wanted to say. But what I'm
you're turning
saying
me
is,
red. Can't you tell?
no, but the thing of it is,
Hmm.
a lot of people don't take time out
Hmm.
to get to know someone intimately
Hmm.
from the mental standpoint.
Well, mental is one, no doubt about it. And that was another thing we
Hmm.
talked about. Conversation is
Yeah,
another closeness, but we're made up of other types
exactly.
of closenesses, meaning other kinds of connections that
Yeah.
connect to us as a being
Hmm.
than just closeness in the sexual
Yeah.
part. I'm coming to think about it,
But
you were, hold on for a second.
okay, I
You
am.
was having me now forget what I was getting ready to say about that particular matter. Maybe it wasn't that important, but it will come back again. Go right ahead. Maybe
I
totally
was,
forget.
yeah, well, it'll come back.
Hmm.
I was just thinking about, from the standpoint of that the part of dualism that's mind body. You
Hmm.
know, mind comes first
Hmm.
in that statement. And
Hmm.
so from that standpoint, um if you make that mental connection, if you
Hmm.
if the dualism from the two people connect on the mental level, then you
Hmm.
have something more to build
No,
on.
in fact, there's a word now. I know there's a word called um sexual
Sapiosexual,
yeah, sapiosexual.
sapiosexual.
A word
Yeah.
I just actually came into my domain of knowledge probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And it certainly actually spoke to me
Yeah.
from the standpoint of it is a sensual feeling that I get when I'm connected to a woman who's intelligent.
Mhm.
And it could be vice versa with a woman with a man.
Hello.
It really has to do with intellect. Someone's mind,
Absolutely.
those mind thoughts
Absolutely.
can turn a person on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is that mind side that you talk about
Mhm.
dualism that definitely can help that. So all of you geeks, men and women out there, just know we disagree that you can be cybersexual. But if you, but if
Sapiosexual.
but if you talk too much geek stuff, it ain't gonna work. It's just not.
Well, not necessarily,
Not for
because
black folks, it ain't.
but you might be, excuse me,
Mhm.
you might be, yeah,
What happened? You choked on that?
I
No.
did. I choked on that one.
Uh,
Because you might be talking, from geek to geek,
oh, okay.
you know,
Oh, wow.
and then, you know, yeah. So I would not say that, um, because it's lumping everybody into the
It
same
is. It
type
is.
of category.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
We have. Hold on.
So anyway, yeah. And so we have so we still need to not sell the mind part of that dualism short.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Definitely, definitely. And how should we do that?
Um we might want to start by talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things, and that comes to this one show that we were watching last night that clicked with me as far as this is concerned. Um there was a woman who was in like a dating, um well, it was like more of a sexual thing. These people were connecting electronically for body to body contact, but there was nothing about the mind that was being done there. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of these social connection situations, this Tinder and some of the others,
Mm-hmm.
I think they're they could be set up to block that mind to mind connection,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so, um yeah.
So yeah, what should we do about that? How do you get past it? How do you get over it? Is it possible whatsoever when it comes to this?
I think it
Is that what we're
is.
trying to move to? You think
I
we think we can actually get there?
I think we can, because we've been there before.
Okay.
We
We talked about that.
before people got so busy that they didn't have time for people.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
we were there, and I think there's a way to cycle that
Well,
back
let's
around.
ask. What do you think about when they say that when there is that we move into a spiritual Asian belief system, still African in its basis too, of yin and yang? Okay,
Hmm.
two different energies. Usually they connect it to a male and female energy,
Hmm.
and they then it is told that they complement one another. And we'll be talking about later on what compliment actually means, by the way, though we use
Hmm.
compliment as being the answer to opposites.
Yes.
And that means that's why they work because we
Yes.
use the word
Yes.
compliment. Yeah, but anyway, and that you can learn to grow from one another in that particular matter,
Hmm.
because it's like sandpaper and wood. It helps smooth the edges and approach another person's opposite qualities with respect. And somehow you two can come out and shine and not
Yes.
beat each other up. Excuse me. I didn't say that we do that, by the way. And if so, it'd be none of your damn business. But no, I know.
No.
But anyway, but you understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
That's that extreme uh, um, 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 could be the extreme mind thought.
Exactly.
And even at that, when you think about when you flip the script, if you are about opposites and you're not going to talk about what we think is the survival level of sexual connection, which is usually used
Hmm.
and say it's nature, and you're not going to move to the mind, you're not going to use the spirit, you're not going to beauty. I'm talking about the other 12 different closeness that
Yes.
have to do with intimacy
Hmm.
connected to a human being.
Yeah.
Then how do you then say and explain that when it comes to that sandpaper and opposite for one another, how do you come out and say, mm, this is going to be something that's real comfortable, something that's really going to be workable, something I really feel at peace at, and something that I really feel comfortable with? Because most of the time, that's not the results.
Right.
You don't hear that in news. You don't hear that in families. You don't hear that much at all. That, this thing was built, this person did very well. This built this, I don't know why church comes to my mind. I don't know why it does. But this house or this business, and because them two were so opposite, they fought like cats and dogs, but this got taken care of.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
I don't know. I have, because to me that kind of is counterproductive.
Mm,
Um, but maybe it works for some people, but it just seems really
mm,
counterproductive to me. I can't I can't get to the point of saying, "Oh yeah, it makes total sense that
mm-hmm,
you're so opposite that you can't even agree on the little things,
mm-hmm.
but you can create a big thing."
And I can tell that you have been under that cloud, or say that shade of the idea of opposites, under the guise of dualism. And when you put it into a relationship, you actually think that that kind of belief, that kind of technique really would work. When you know in your own logical mind, it can't
It,
work.
it, it can't work.
No, and you know that there's
And
many
I've
news reports,
yeah.
domestic abuses that would come out and quite frankly say there were completely opposites in that
Yeah.
relationship. They didn't agree upon things in that relationship. One could have been very passive, the other one
Hmm.
could be very aggressive,
Yeah.
but didn't mean that they were both agreeable on being that way.
Right.
Most likely that they were very disagreeable
Yeah.
and
And
opposite in the belief system. One just was more aggressive and therefore was very more violent in the matter
mhm.
and resolving those particular issues, when maybe somebody else, or maybe both of them could be
Well,
very
that could have been the
hellcats,
thing they
and
had
they
in
both
common.
exactly,
But
exactly.
yeah, and that's part of the reason that opposites never, being with someone who was opposite did make sense to me, because I mean, even in the workplace, you cannot work productively with someone who is opposite from you
Yeah,
in mindset.
yeah. And jobs make sure that they
Yeah.
train you.
Yeah.
They make sure they put you in the right square
Yeah.
area. They make sure that your partner, and that's what they call them, your
Mhm.
teammate, is working with you. That that person's in common, and understanding with whatever procedure you're going through. And
Yeah.
if you're not, they're going to send you back and train you. And if you don't do well in that team with the other person,
Mhm.
they kick you off the team,
Yeah.
either fire you or they put you someplace else.
Yeah. And and what we don't even look at
Hmm.
often is that sometimes it even takes place in our own homes,
Yeah.
where with our children, where the siblings are either they have totally different likes. They
Hmm.
don't enjoy one another's company. The children can be opposite of each other also, even though they have the same parentage.
Hmm.
Um, but and from that standpoint, they don't get along together. They don't work well together.
Hmm.
It's just one of those things. It's just another one of those things that shows that opposites, theoretically and in actuality, should not be expected to thrive.
Yeah, they have a low probability.
Yes.
But think, because we're getting ready to head into another commercial, but I
Oh, in a few
think and
minutes.
I know that there is a flow of a direction or an answer we can look at when it comes to that sandpaper in smoothing edges, or
Hmm.
there's a biblical saying, iron sharpens iron. I mean, and that's actually used in the physical world
Yeah.
to smooth out materials,
Yeah.
to smooth out an item in this particular
Hmm.
case. So I think we might be able to find how, as we move along with that yin and yang of male and female energy, how we can still look at it in such a way where truly behind it, there's still a stronger case for the pointing of unity and the pointing of togetherness, or in the point in this case, uh, of a thriving relationship,
Right.
and that people being totally opposite from one another are not the best way of handling
Hmm.
a thriving relationship. Anyway, we're going to get ready to go to the
Oh,
commercial.
and
Let's
we
go.
got a couple
We
minutes.
got a couple of minutes.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know
Yep.
that.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And
Man, I
so
went through all that for that. Why didn't you tell me?
I did. I said in a few
You should have
minutes.
said, there you go. You said "erp."
No, I didn't.
Now, I know those young folks ain't told you to say "erp."
No, I said.
Oh, okay. He said maybe that's a Tennessee way that they do that.
Hey,
"Erp."
in some parts of Tennessee.
Urkel, Urkel. Oh, 2 minutes and
Yeah.
counting.
Yes, and it's one of those things that we
Mm.
always have to work towards. I closed my eyes because I was trying to remember what I was in the
Yeah, I know what you're
process of
talking about.
saying.
But it is
Yeah.
it is definitely something to work on, because
Yeah.
the setting condition in theory
Mhm.
in belief system is opposites attract. I
Yeah.
don't care if it is sexual as attraction. Everything else can be worked from there. And then one of the best relationships to have
Yes.
is an opposite dualism relationship. When
Yeah.
many of those people in a dual relationship, they don't understand the dualism of their own selves. And they're not
Exactly.
even trying to get their own
Exactly.
self in sync to know
Right.
who they
Right.
really are.
Right.
And they're trying to handle the complexity of a relationship.
Mhm.
Okay. I
Yes.
guess we're ready to go. She said 30 seconds.
Yes.
You can take it ahead of time if you want to, man.
Yes. Going to another commercial. We'll be back.
Yeah.
And we are back. They caught you again working. But
The what?
caught you again working. And we're still talking about dualism in relationships as we um start bringing
I
today's
was just texting Julius because you asked me to say we want a black what
our black media
mug.
mug.
Yeah, we want an all black media mug
Yes.
so we can hold it
I'm
and
a
act like we got something in it and put it on top of our keyboard
and
just to help out.
And knowing me,
You will
I
probably
will
use it.
have something in it.
Yeah, you probably
If
will.
either water or tea or hot chocolate.
Hmm.
I'm in a hot chocolate kick right now.
Okay.
I don't know why, but
It's getting warm again, so you were out of time, sister. You were not in sync. That's why you was running for dualism the first, but you out of
but you
sync
know
with your
what?
body.
But you know what?
What?
It's no different from people drinking hot coffee all year long.
I don't do. That's why cold coffee comes in
You like cold
existence.
coffee in the wintertime.
Sometimes I do.
See? So
Sometimes I do. You're right, but I don't drink coffee that much.
no, you don't. But
No, no. Try not to.
yeah. But that I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm cold most of the time.
Could
or
be. I don't know.
but
I don't
I don't
know,
know.
sister.
I
I
just
can't help you in that matter.
I know. But I just like
So
hot stuff.
can we oh my God. I will not even say anything whatsoever about that particular comment. Wow, you slipped that one out, didn't you?
I
Slipped the Mickey. Shoot.
uh,
And so are you using that to smooth some edges real quickly? Is that what that was? You might get your way on that one from that end.
well, you
Mm,
know, you know.
the fact that the way of trying to act like people are not opposite in many
hmm
relationships and their thinking and have
And
not
their
really
actions.
yeah, non-actions too. I
Hmm
mean, when you do no
Yes.
actions, that's an action.
Absolutely.
Is at a very high number. There's just no
hmm
doubt about it. And there's not many relationships that are getting together with things that are in common, especially important things in common. And I would assume very strong that's why there's probably a high amount of divorce
hmm
in our
Yeah.
community, especially
Yes.
and all that negative stuff that comes along
Yeah.
with it, which is why we push and try to bring up the balanced relationship through taking the journey. And the dualism here is definitely not an action as it was brought to our attention to talk about, to you know run ramshod on dualism and opposites to tracks.
hmm
Though I don't have no problem running a bus over it, but that that to way to find out how both folks can use their different abilities that they have
yes.
to work out concerns and problems, which would be that sandpaper trying to smooth that people
hmm
sometimes use
Yeah.
as a high level when they talk about opposites.
Yeah.
I think that there's not a lot of look at that in the direction of a relationship, meaning in the dependent world where both are independent world when both are independent, which
hmm
usually is the status of that opposite attracts.
Right.
Each person is independent of one another.
Yes.
You may not in that independent time spend most of that I do my thing, you do your thing, and somehow we get along. I bring that all the time.
hmm
But you may not at all because you're being so independent. Just bear with me. Not necessarily utilizing your skills and talents for the sake of us.
Yeah.
I mean, for the sake of both.
hmm
I mean, yeah, for the sake of your mate. How's that? Just that
Yeah.
simple. You
Yeah.
may not do that. Now, by default, many times we do it for our kids, whether we like it or not. And many times we don't like it. But but we do that for those other beings that we
yeah.
both came together through the
And
sexual time
created.
and created from that end. Uh, but I mean, but that does happen.
yes.
And so there's not really the mind thought then from there. Well, what are we going to do if we have both opposite minds that are built on certain talents, certain giftings, certain abilities to then be a somehow as younger folks call today, build. I'm gonna use the word
Yeah.
build together. Well, you're not going to build together too well if you stay under the concept of we're opposites
hmm
and therefore we only attract sexually. There ain't much you're going to do from there
No.
when it comes to
No.
building, but build more babies. That's about it from
Right.
that end. But you're not going to build a community that's going to go beyond that
Right.
if you're not
You're
using
not
that.
going to build a relationship either.
Well, you could, but it's just again the other areas of closeness are not necessarily part of that
Right.
relationship, and
Right.
there's a lot of byproducts that come about it.
hmm
And so on that particular note, if we look at what you're sanding, or whether you're the sandpaper that's doing the sanding, or you're the piece of wood that's getting sanded. You pick which one you are. No, I'm just joking. Um, uh,
um
at the end, it's to try to, if you're doing a project, you're artist too, is
mhm.
try to make a work that comes out of it. Smooth board, a beautiful sculpting idea out of
Yeah,
creativity.
yeah,
That's what you're trying to do it. And I don't think it's necessarily supposed to be about just representing the board being the other person in the relationship that may need to be polished. Like I know
yes.
you think I need to be polished more. So a lot of people feel that about me. But anyway, and oh, the opposite way around.
Mhm.
I think the thing we're forgetting is the point that has to do with the us.
Yes.
Moving from the independent to the
To
interdependence.
interdependent.
What
Yes.
do we and what can we do
Mhm.
between each other
Yes.
in connection to the knowledge, a connection to the giftings that we have
Mhm.
that we may have to work on to see how they can work out together,
Yeah.
to see how they can come together to accomplish some tasks. What you think about that?
I agree with that. And one of the things that, as you were talking, that struck me or stuck with me or came to me
Mm-hmm.
was the idea that this is where we move away from the opposites attract.
Mm.
This is where we get into the nuts and bolts of dualism for a couple,
Mm.
the relationship side, the building relationship, the thriving relationship
Mm-hmm.
side of dualism.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything else, there are two sides to dualism. Also,
Mm-hmm.
there's that opposite side, and then there is that togetherness side.
Mm.
And when you start talking about couples in a relationship that are working together to build, that are on the same page, not saying you're going to be on the same, on every page is going to
Mm-hmm.
be the
Mm-hmm.
same page, but you're on enough of the same page that you're in the same book,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I think this is where we're getting to now, is where we can talk about what we're going to do, or how you can create a really healthy thriving
Relationship.
relationship through dualism.
Through I like that. I
Yes.
love that idea right there, through dualism. So those who are out there that are stuck in your own way of opposite wise, and your mind and your intelligence and your thought process, whether you're from the streets or not, and you're thinking, man, my girl, my guy ain't gonna really relate to me. Well, we don't. All we can do is just do the bang bang thing in bed, and nothing else really can go on right. And you could be in all kinds of other levels. I think she's bringing up a good point. The point is, through that dualism concept, if we move it a little bit higher and expand it from being two independent people to interdependence, where both you together, taking your structure, taking your ideas,
Hmm.
taking your experiences and put it together, then you could build something more that you couldn't do by yourself. Or
Right.
like young people say,
Right.
that we're going to start building.
Hmm.
And how much better is a thriving, healthy relationship?
Well, isn't
It's
that
all
what
about building.
I was going to say?
Yeah,
Isn't that what a healthy, thriving
exactly.
relationship is
It
about?
is. It is. Yeah.
Taking what you have and where you are,
Mm-hmm.
and creating something that is monumental in its own right.
Exactly.
I'm not saying build a monument. I'm just saying something
Well,
that for you,
some couples
some do.
have had a monument and building named after.
Exactly.
This is in the church world, in the black community. You see that, right?
Exactly. And that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, it may seem small to someone, to somebody,
Mm-hmm.
but it may be a monumental accomplishment for the two of you.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
That should be
it
that
it,
should
it
where it should count in the first place.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's where it counts. What did we do together?
Mm-hmm.
What legacy have we put together
And
ourselves, based on the fact that we were on the same page, that we were thinking the same, that one of us, and we both don't have to have the same idea. One of us had the idea,
mm-hmm.
and we worked
Work
together
together to
to
make it happen.
create it. Yes.
Just like this play we're trying to work on right now. We've been looking for people to come in and partner with our conscious play that we're trying to do. What's it
Yes.
called?
A time to heal.
A time for you about the different seasons in life that we go through relationship. So this goes to, because I think we're going to finish this one the way time is going. This thing about dualism, I think it's going to be finished. It needs to be finished anyway. Is the word complement. Everybody thinks complement is usually what they use to sew together dualism, when it is not necessarily functioning that way. We already talked about it,
Hmm.
but getting to where you're talking about, where we as dualism individuals can work together to be as one,
Hmm.
sending each other, so we find that togetherness or that actual balance and healing. also is where compliment actually comes up.
Yes.
Compliment is another word that make each other into a better person. Again,
Right.
make each other into a better person, someone who can improve you and adds to your relationship.
Yeah.
So that means the other side of the coin of dualism has everything to do with a balanced, healthy
Mm-hmm.
relationship. The
Yes.
commonality, even at that point, is we are both trying to improve each other.
Yes.
We are both trying to make each other better.
Mm-hmm.
We won't be necessarily the same, but some of the talents, some of the gifts we have will help improve you and vice versa.
Exactly.
It's another word for being harmonious.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And from where we stand, we're improving everything around us and about us
Hmm.
if we're on the same page. And we're
Oh, yeah, through the power
and
of
we're
agreement, becoming that power of agreement.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And we have that harmony happening. I like that word, harmonious.
Harmonious. So we both, in a dualistic kind of way as beings,
Mm-hmm.
have to understand that it is best for us to both to try to balance each other. When we balance each other, our individual self,
Yes.
then it is easier to walk in interconnectivity where that balance says we both can work together
Mm-hmm.
to create that which we couldn't do before.
Yes.
And there's so many other choices of events and projects and things that we could do as a couple to build with the kind of talents we have if we pull together to make that happen.
Yes.
So I think about that like the musical notes, where two notes, when they're played together, they create
Harmony.
harmony. They create
Uh-huh.
harmony.
Yes.
So we can't actually move on the other political route to think that individualism, which is being independent, okay, in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship,
Just
actually
you.
just you, okay, and about just you and nobody else,
Mm-hmm.
and ain't no reason
Yes.
behind it.
Right.
It actually dilutes groups of people, or in this
Mm-hmm.
case,
The
the
couple.
relationship of the
Mm-hmm.
couple, and disallows the reality of the connection of them to be together.
Yes.
A cultural diverse community
Yes.
that exists has to always feel that a couple or a male or a female or those human beings should be able to relate to one another and find interdependence and harmony
Mm-hmm.
to create a community and create a diverse
Absolutely.
culture.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we as people, black folks especially, we need to understand that and start working in such a way where we are trying to come together,
Mm-hmm.
connect in our relationships.
Yes.
And we think very strongly what we're teaching, balanced relationship, thriving relationship, like today, moving in dualism and letting you know that is part of life, but there's another direction you can go
Mm-hmm.
to use it for both of your advantages as
Yes.
another way to create strong relationships
Exactly.
in our community, in other communities too.
It's something that you have to work at,
Hmm.
and we've got to get away from this attitude of just letting nature take its course.
Yeah,
That's not healthy, actually.
no, no.
Not in this situation, because if you think about it, nature left untended can really grow out of control.
Yeah, it can ravage.
Yeah.
Ravage from
Yeah.
that end. It has its own check, and actually, nature too has its. If you want to talk about, has its own checks and balances.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how I talked about watching National Geographics on the show?
I
We
love
we
National Geographic.
mom made me watch it when I was younger. Anyway,
I used to read the magazines and
uh,
loved them.
how fire, which kills animals and kills grass, you would think, it's terrible, but
Yes.
yet the earth uses fire as a way to cleanse and
Mm-hmm.
and refurbish and to
Yes.
be able to start over with those other particular plants in
Right.
life that were just not doing well
Right.
living together from that particular. And that's in all parts of the world
Mm-hmm.
where fire as
Mm-hmm.
example is
Yes.
used.
Yes. And they have shown what grows what starts growing very quickly under the burnt out
Mhm.
trees and grasses and things like that, the new life that is budding.
Young sapling,
And that was
exactly, new
always
life, new life.
fascinating to me.
So our new life has to know we're gonna have to work it out together. You don't want to throw those relationships away. You've got to do what you can. Keep listening to Unity and Community. I mean,
Taking the
taking the
journey
journey together.
together.
That's still going to bring some unity in the community anyway. But
Absolutely.
yeah, taking the journey together with us, and I think we hopefully we can help you out with many other things. Our guest, Miss Latita, she couldn't be here today. She got into a bad accident. She was in the hospital. please pray for her. I know you guys enjoyed it. We looked at all the people that viewed it our last time. She's supposed to be here every other
Every
week
couple of weeks, yes.
from that end. So just, give a good prayer for her. She'll be back hopefully next week and in good shape. But otherwise, all I can say is thank you. God bless and Ashe.
And continue to take the journey together.
Yes. Peace.
Like this.